Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're taking a look at the Synthetic 6, which is an open tag from our friend Thrifty Kaniffy. But before I dive into that video, I did want to take a second to congratulate Thrifty Kaniffy. He'll be tagged in the title of this video, definitely go show him some love. But he recently passed 1 million views here on YouTube, which is an insanely impressive number. And it's a number that we almost use synonymously with a lot. We might say something like, oh, I left a can of soda on the counter, and when I walked in the kitchen, there were 1 million ants. And everyone participating in that conversation knows you don't literally mean 1 million, you mean a lot. And it's an exaggeration, but one that's pretty common. In this case, he literally has 1 million views. And so that's an incredibly impressive feat and very well deserved. So congrats on that. Now, in addition to that, he recently blew past 4,000 subscriber milestone, so he's well on his way to 5,000 at this point. And so another really impressive feat that he's accomplished very quickly. And so congrats on both fronts, buddy. Now, with that said, let's dive into today's video. What is the Synthetic 6? We're looking at slip joint knives with synthetic covers. And so originally, I wanted to stick with traditional knives, but as many of you know already, I'm pretty new to traditional slip joints, and so I've accumulated a decent amount at this point, maybe 30 to 40 that I'd consider traditional slip joints, but 90% of those have bone covers, and so for the sake of simplicity, when we're talking synthetic, I'm talking man-made, not naturally occurring. Things like bone, wood, mother of pearl aren't going to be included in this video. And so with 90% of my collection of traditional slip joints being bone, and then on top of that having a couple wood mixed in there, that didn't leave that many synthetic covers, and of the ones that were there wasn't that much variety. And so for the sake of diversity, I did include 2 modern slip joints in here. I tried to stick with kind of traditional-esque materials, and so I didn't go with anything super exotic that you see on modern slip joints, stuff like Ultem or stuff like carbon fiber, titanium, and so stuff that you might actually find on a traditional slip joint. And so by doing that, I went from having 3 different cover materials to having 5 different cover materials. And so thought that kind of made sense. You'll see when we get there what I went with there, but let's start with the kind of most obvious one on the list, and that's the Case American Workman. And one other thing that's nice with this list actually is that none of the 6 that I chose have long form videos on the channel yet. Some have appeared in other lists or shorts or community posts, but none have their own video, so those will be coming on all of these eventually. But this is the Case American Workman series. The pattern on this one is the Seahorse Whittler, and it has those synthetic red covers, so can't do a synthetic list without some covers called synthetic. And so this is a whittler pattern, and that seahorse shape is a little bit obvious, but I picked this up because I wanted to get back into whittling. And I say back into whittling, I've never been that into whittling, but I did do some whittling in Boy Scouts. We did, of course, the cars, we did some soap whittling and stuff like that. And so really wanted to get into it now that I was getting into traditional slip joints. Picked this up alongside a book and a couple cedar blocks and stuff like that. Haven't picked it up yet, but definitely plan on it in the future, and I've actually picked up a couple other whittler patterns as well. So the Seahorse Whittler is a 3-bladed pattern, and this isn't obviously a full review on it, so I'm not going to talk specs, dimensions, fit, and finish, but we will talk about the blades on each of them. So we have that coping blade on the cover side, as well as a pen blade on the pile side. Sandwiched in between there, we have this really lovely Wharncliffe blade, and the Wharncliffe is my favorite style of blade, at least aesthetically. Maybe not use-wise, but aesthetically, I just love the look of a Wharncliffe blade. So overall, I think this is an excellent looking knife. Don't even think I pointed out that American flag case shield, which I think is one of their better looking shields. So love a lot about this knife, and really happy I picked this one up. Now, moving on, we're going to get to our only repeat on the list. Number 2, we have the Case Mini Trapper, this one in a green synthetic, and so this one is a repeat material, same thing, just in green. Also another excellent looking knife. First mini trapper for me as well. I had a few trappers at this point when I bought this one, but this is my first mini trapper. So of course it does have that spade blade as well as the clip point blade, and more traditional case shield on this one. This one definitely gives me like the John Deere vibes, even though they have a John Deere version. But those brass pins combined with that green have kind of a similar vibe to it. Really excellent fit and finish on this one as well. But that is number 2. Number 3 is our first modern knife on the list, and that's the Jack Wolf Knives Laid Back Jack. And so this is modeled after the sway back jack pattern, and the cover material on it is purple kieranite. And so I felt pretty comfortable including this on the list because kieranite is a material that you will see occasionally on traditional slip joints. And so although I don't have any at this point, I would like to pick some up, and it's something that you will see on traditional slip joints. So had no problem including this on the list. But this is a purple wave kieranite, and I think it looks absolutely excellent. Very beautiful cover in my opinion. And so that's definitely a fun one. And going from one extreme to the other, that's our most expensive knife on the list at $299. And we're going to be jumping over to our least expensive at $3.99 is what I paid for this, although that was on sale. If you don't get it on sale, you're going to jump all the way up to $4.99. So this is a very budget conscious knife, and this is the Novelty Knife Co. Old Glory Barlow. And so they have a bunch of these with different patterns underneath that acrylic, but all of them have the same acrylic top. This one obviously has that American flag printed on it, and I'm not sure if that's printed directly on the metal or if there's like a cardboard or paper sheet that is printed on that's placed in between the metal and the acrylic, but in any event, available in a bunch of different patterns and super budget conscious. Now this is a traditional Barlow, and so we have that traditional pen blade in the front and the clip point in the back. Now, as far as fit and finish on this one goes, not going to be as good as some of the other knives, but it's a $3.99 knife, so $4. This is absolutely excellent. It's really impressive what they're able to do at that price point. You're almost paying for the box and the shipping, you know, let alone any of the materials whatsoever. And so really cool, impressive knife for its price point. And these are fun. They have a lot of really fun patterns. And so this is actually my second take on this video. I accidentally threw this one across the room open, and so ended up just reshooting the whole thing. But it did pretty well, no obvious damage. But that's number 4 on our list. So moving on, these are the ones that are a little bit more questionable. I didn't see these materials, and I've watched a bunch of the other videos already on this topic. I didn't see these materials on other lists, but I think both of them qualify. So number 5, we have the Rough Rider Arctic Fox series. And so this is a smooth white micarta, also available in a black micarta. And so super smooth, and micarta, you know, it can be made up of a lot of different materials. Some might be considered natural materials, but it's very processed and mixed with resin, and so I still consider this a synthetic material. And so it has this really cool black fox shield as well as a black liner underneath that micarta, and so really good looking knife here. Now this is also available in a black and red, which I don't have yet but do intend to eventually pick up. Now this is another 2-blade. Up front we have that Skinner blade, and then right behind that we have a clip point. So seeing a lot of clip points on a lot of these different knives, but this one also has that clip point. Really excellent. And these are under $20, so another kind of budget conscious knife. I'd say most of these, I think 3 out of 6 are under $20, 5 out of 6 are under $100. So mostly budget conscious with that one exception. Now, last on the list is another modern knife, although this one feels a lot more traditional than that Jack Wolf, and that's the Rough Rider Classic G10. So you can see it does have a torque screw construction, just like the Jack Wolf, but otherwise feels very kind of traditional. But G10, which isn't a super traditional material, but definitely a synthetic material, something we see on a ton of modern locking knives. And so this is another 2-bladed pattern. This is the moose pattern. We have the spay blade on one side, and really kind of a unique looking spay blade. It's got like a almost Persian sweep on the back, but definitely a spay blade still. And then our main blade again is another clip point. This is the largest knife that we're looking at today, and again really excellent fit and finish overall for a $15, $20 knife, whatever these run for. Feels really good in hand, really kind of a thicker knife as well as the longer knife. And so, actually that's not fully in frame, so we'll move it over here. So those are the 6 that I came up with for Synthetic 6. Obviously we got 5 different cover materials. Let me know what you think of my selection and what you would choose if you were in my shoes, or if you make videos, definitely add yourself to this open tag Thrifty Kaniffy in it. But really fun putting this together. I think I got a lot of variety in there and really just enjoyed it. You know, I already mentioned price-wise, most of these are pretty budget friendly. 3 of them you can get for under $20. Those cases are kind of middle of the road. I don't know if they're in everyone's kind of budget tier. I think I got one of them on sale for like 45 bucks or something. So I'd still consider that pretty budget, but both are going to be under 100. And then the Jack Wolf knives, of course, is a beautiful knife, really, really modern, and not just the cover materials, but we're looking at that torque screw construction, all titanium hardware, titanium bolster, and S90V on the blade. And so just kind of a different beast altogether, but equally impressive. And so a lot of fun putting this together. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button if you enjoyed this video. I will link to these down in the description below if there's something you're interested in picking up, or if you're just doing some shopping on SMKW. Always appreciate when you guys use my links. It helps out the channel a ton and no additional cost to you. Whenever possible, I like to try and get coupon codes as well, although I don't have one for SMKW. But thanks again for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff I already mentioned, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.